Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to A Course in Miracles mind training. And this is not book study. This isn't even remotely like book study. Book study will just get you more book study. Application will get you miracles. Pretty cool, huh? So today, like I said, I've been having some major downloads this week. And then I did my ACIM Now Oracle this morning, and it brought me to the perfect lesson. Lesson 167. There is one life, and that I share with God. Okay, so we're going back to some of the just basics in A Course in Miracles. I am, and I is you. We are one with God. We were created by God. God is only love. Okay? And from here, if we forget that simple lesson, all suffering on the planet springs forth. Because we forget, I was created by love. Love. And ideas do not leave their source. So what are these other feelings I'm having? You know, fatigue and doubt and confusion and anger and sadness and oh my God, it goes on and on and on and on. Well, that's because we're still acting like we have free will. Remember the Garden of Eden? We had free will. And I had this thought too. Okay, so Adam and Eve had free will. And then Adam projected all over Eve and said she was the one that made him eat the apple. That was the first projection. Don't you love it? I just loved it. So basically, they started this projection game. And they did something that they felt was not okay. Now, God never said that. This is Adam and Eve talking. And someone said, you know, there was a snake, and suddenly the snake was evil. And the snake is telling him, eat the apple from the tree of good and evil, which doesn't really exist. And then they did, and then they felt they were evil. And from then on, suffering was. So this idea that I'm anything but God. God created me exactly as God. Now, here's another interesting thing to think about. God can't die. Cannot die. God cannot die. God cannot die. Okay, so then you have to immediately question. It's like, well, then how come I was created like God? And God cannot die. Yet I go to funerals all the time. What's dying? Form that we put a lot of belief in. Put a lot of belief in form. It's probably one of the biggest idols that we have, the idol of form. What form looks like. We acknowledge it, we put it on the altar, we wish for it, we don't wish for it. You know, it's like it's this idol. God doesn't have form. Okay, so then where's God? God's in my mind. Oh boy. Okay, we're going down the tunnel here. I feel like I'm just hanging on to you and dragging you with me here, folks. So this idea of death is an ego idea. And if you think about it, all feelings other than love and peace are egoic feelings, which are really worshiping death. So if we believe we're having confusing feelings, or let's just do anger, it's an easy one, everyone can relate to it. If we believe we're having anger, and we pull back the projection, but we're still angry, then it's like you have to ask yourself, I am created by God. God doesn't have anger. So why am I choosing it? Because all feelings are a choice. And the only free will we have is to acknowledge that I was created as God, and God is only love. That's free will. Then everything else takes us down the ego pathway to hell. So if I'm feeling resentful, or if I'm comparing myself, if I'm angry, whatever, I am choosing that. And by choosing that, I am denying God. And I've talked to so many people, and everybody is so quick, particularly when I talk about death and that I came out of hospice. Oh, I'm not fearful of death. No, not even remotely. Bullshit. I say bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Because every time you have a feeling other than love and happy, you're putting death right on the idol pedestal. I believe in death above all else. And so the mind training is to really watch when we're choosing these other feelings, when they're coming into our screen, and they will, we're human, and they're not bad, they're just red flags saying, watch out, ego is taking you. And so the unwind, the mind training, is to pull back whatever projection. Most people get caught up in the projection because it feels very real. I did this with cancer. I was terrified of it at the time, and it felt very real. So no matter what anyone said, oh, no, that's an ego idea. And I'm going, fuck you and your ego ideas. I've got cancer and I feel it. Okay? Not bad, just needed massive correction. And the correction had to come in my mind. There is no other correction that we can do. And that's where prayer comes in. Holy Spirit, help me to unravel this nightmare I have in my mind. So every time we have any feeling other than love and peace, drop into prayer. Holy Spirit, I know this is not your feeling, it's my feeling, and I'm choosing separate from you. So by choosing separate from God, I'm denying God. I am denying the truth of who I am. And I know we don't want to admit this, but I'm just here to say, admit it. It'll start the healing process. Denial will keep you stuck in a cycle of suffering of your own invention. So you've got to just admit, this is not getting trapped into an idea that you're a horrible person. That's very Catholic. I'm just going to share my Catholicism. as far as my healing is concerned. I got trapped into feeling guilty. Massive guilt, because I believed cancer was real. I believed my fear of cancer was real. And then I started abusing myself with it. Well, that's not what A Course in Miracles is asking of us. A Course in Miracles is all about forgiveness. And the only one we can forgive is ourselves. So this is where it's a real personal process of prayer with Holy Spirit holding on to us and saying, honey, you're waking up. It's like, Adam fell asleep in the Garden of Eden. He never woke up. We're still in that sleep state. Course in Miracles calls it the dream of death, but we're actually sleeping. And the only way to wake up is to be honest with ourselves. I'm thinking X, Y, and Z, and none of them are about peace, happy, or joy. Okay, no problem, no problemo. This is not about making anything wrong. It's just, okay, it's time for me to drop into correction with Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, I'm stuck in rage right now. Help me see this differently. And I hate to tell you, but this you have to do by yourself. You can ask for help from a true mighty companion, one that's doing their own work. But I say, get into the habit of doing it yourself, because this is self-study. And no one knows what you're thinking but you. So if you go to Holy Spirit knows what you're thinking and knows the truth about you. So Holy Spirit is really the only one to really help us sort this out. And it's deep contemplation work, folks. All the lessons that I never paid attention to, all the lessons in A Course in Miracles say, do this 5 minutes every hour on the hour of the day. Never did that, ever. No, because I'm going to do it my way. Thank you for sharing your ideas, but I can do it my way and still get there. Oh, even that arrogance that I hear right now, my first desire is to start beating myself up for it. It's like, no, honey, you just used arrogance to survive in a world that you didn't trust God in. Oh, okay. Can you help me with a correction? I need help with the correction. So if we can go back every morning, if you can even start your morning, I hope you all start your morning out with some prayer connection. But if you can include in that, I and God are one. God is only love. So guess what? I am only love. And all the other feelings that will pop up during the day are bullshit. And the quicker I can call bullshit on them, the faster I can heal my mind. I see any thought other than love and happy as a massive red flag. So if I'm going through my day and all of a sudden I go, oh my God, I'm really feeling very slow and fatigued. I hear screaming rubber. All 4 tires are stopping. Whoops. I and God are one. God is only love. Therefore, these other ideas that I have about you or me or anything have got to be stopped immediately. And that's my free will to put the kibosh on those other feelings. And if you're projecting on someone, you have to pull back the projection first. because now you're 2 steps away from God. You're not only having a feeling, but you're now putting it on someone else. And so there's a step in there, you have to pull the projection back and own it. Oh, no, it has nothing to do with them. This is me. And then work with that with Holy Spirit. And then you get back to, oh, right, I'm only love. Where did I think I was anger? Where did I think I was rage? And you've got to understand, I was a rager. I was a rager because it worked for my father. He was a rager. And everyone, the whole family stopped when Dad was raging. It worked, man. Dad got angry. We all disappeared or got very quiet. And he could do whatever he wanted. So in my ego brain, I thought, oh, raging, good idea. They'll listen to me. Now, I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm just saying that's the way my mind kind of got it all pulled together. But it was a survival mechanism. It was from a child that didn't realize she and God were one and that she was created only as love. See, I never got that as a child. I never learned that one. So I was coming up with all my own ideas, creative as they were. I actually had a guy once tell me, he says, he was somewhat psychic, but his whole thing was to correct my thinking. And he was saying, God, you are really a creative individual. And in my mind, I'm going, oh yeah, good, I'm creative. No, it's creative in that I created all these stories that sounded good to me as a child. And so then I continued them through life, which is not good. And every time I raged, I didn't like raging. I didn't like being angry. I wanted to be something other than that, but I had no mechanism before the Course in Miracles to go back to who I truly was. Oh, I am God, am one. I was created by God. God is only love. So everything else I think is usually not of God, unless I'm loving someone in my mind. Is this making sense? This is like, A Course in Miracles 999. It's not the 101, A Course in Miracles 101. This is like way beyond this. You're in the postdoctorate course for A Course in Miracles. And I know you were all up to it because you keep showing up, and I don't know why anyone keeps showing up, but you do. You do, and I do. And it's like, because the more I work with this, the happier I get. So the truth is working. The miracles are working. And I don't believe in death anymore. And I say this only because I continue to have others that call me about this teacher that's saying that you can heal everything through A Course in Miracles. No, it's not about healing form. Because again, form is an idol. It's about mind. It's about finding the deepest peace you could possibly find in mind. With that deep peace in mind, guess what? Form does not matter. It drops away. So whatever you're concerned about with your form is no longer a concern. It's ridiculous. And, early on, I heard, if you're in the present moment, you cannot have pain. Well, this is the same thing. If you're in the present moment and you're thinking as clearly as you can, even if you're coming off some, egoic thoughts, you can see the truth in this, and there is no pain. Pain is impossible. So if I hear, if you're feeling pain, I beg you to go into prayer more often. And every time you feel discomfort, drop into prayer. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. Don't give in to having a second, third, and fourth thought of, I'm in pain. Then we go into the fifth, sixth, and seventh thought of, I'm in pain. It just keeps digging the grave deeper to the belief in death. And the truth is, minds are eternal. This mind that we're using right now is eternal. Adam sleeping in the Garden of Eden, that's us. And when we wake up, guess where we are? In the Garden of Eden. He didn't die, he just woke up. And someone asked me a good question the other day, do you have to die in order to wake up? No, what we're doing here is to wake up while in the dream. Which is what all the great masters throughout time were telling us, but we were too busy making them a guru and couldn't hear what they were saying. This dream of death is in our minds. It's a belief. And the word in between belief, it's lie, L-I-E, belief. The center part of it is lie. It's a lie. All beliefs are lies. But we've said them enough, and others have said them enough to us, and we have gotten into group conversations about them that we now believe them. They're true. When in fact, what Jesus is attempting to tell us through a lot of the stories in the Bible that I'm starting to see is, wake up, baby cakes. Wake up. And we can wake up while in this dream. So all the suffering that goes on around you, all the things that you've made wrong before, all the things that piss you off, all the things that create confusion, all of those things will no longer do that. Because you'll wake up in the one mind of God, really living. I am a loving thought in the mind of God. That's the truth. That's the truth. And it's not just me saying it, it's Jesus. I'm not saying I'm Jesus, but Jesus wrote it a lot in the Bible and of course in Miracles. Jesus was constantly reiterating, you are love, period. But we don't live our lives like that. And it's not immediately I go into my Catholicism, oh, bad calico, bad calico. Don't do that. That was my response. It's like, no, it's just, oh, a correction of an error in my thinking. Oh, okay. Oh, right. I'm a loving thought in the mind of God. Oh, I forgot that for a moment. And then I got jealous. Or I got into, God, I wish I had more money. Or whatever the thoughts are. You know, and you know, this came up also this past week, and I just thought I'd mention it because it might be helpful for you. If you're not real good at catching your thoughts, listen to what you say. Listen to the words that come out of your mouth, because those are your thoughts in audible form. I get this from Brenda. And that's a good way to start the mind training, is listen to the garbage that you're pumping out of your mouth. Believe me, ooh, I pumped a lot of garbage out of these two lips. But at the time, I was pumping out the truth according to Calico, the truth according to alternative medicine, the truth according to the world that agreed with me. And there were quite a few of them. I say, let it all go. Let all that go. Let all of it go. It's not helpful. The only truth that matters is you're a loving thought in the mind of God, and you are created as God. God created you as God. So God created you as love. So you have to really start looking at, where am I not owning my lovingness? Because I have feelings that are not loving. And it's okay. There's nothing to be guilty about here. It's just, if you can recognize it, the more we can do to correct our thinking. And that's what A Course in Miracles is all about, correcting our thinking. That's all A Course in Miracles is about. It's a course in mind training, application of mind. Okay. So with that, I'm going to turn off the recording. So goodbye, all you YouTubers. And if you'd like to get on this Zoom call, just message me somehow, get a hold of me. I'm on Facebook, and I will put your email onto the list so you can get a link. And with that being said, I don't see, oh, here it is. Have a good week. Everyone else, stay put.